My main priority as a coach is to make sure that we have a goal in mind. So I wouldn't necessarily work with you unless there is a goal that you would like to achieve. And even if you aren't clear on that goal, during the first session, it'll be all about unpacking the current challenges and the current roadblocks that you're experiencing and figuring out what that goal would be together. Hi, my name is Monika and I'm a self-development coach and a mind-body practitioner. And today I'm here to talk to you about coaching. So I often get asked, what is coaching? What can you do for me? And how can you help me whenever I am speaking to a potential client? So I thought I'd jump on today and answer some of your questions and give you an overview of what to expect. So what is coaching? Let's start there. Coaching is very much similar to therapy, and it can often get confused with therapy, mainly because coaches tend to work on a one-to-one basis and they are either online or they conduct their practice in person, often in a meeting room or a safe space where both people can talk. Coaching gets confused with therapy mainly because there is that one-to-one conversation that can happen anywhere between 50 minutes or even 2 hours, depending on the coach. For me personally, I tend to work with clients on an hourly basis and my practice is online. So, how does coaching differ to therapy and what can you expect? So, I'm not a therapist and I'm happy for therapists to correct me here, but my understanding of therapy is that it is an opportunity for a person to process their feelings, process what's going on in their life, and do quite a lot of unpacking. And during that moment and during that session, the therapist would then guide them into a new way of thinking. But there often doesn't seem to be a goal or a milestone for that person to work towards. It's more about processing and unpacking. Whereas with coaching, it is very much different. My main priority as a coach is to make sure that we have a goal in mind. So I wouldn't necessarily work with you unless there is a goal that you would like to achieve. And even if you aren't clear on that goal, during the first session, it'll be all about unpacking the current challenges and the current roadblocks that you're experiencing and figuring out what that goal would be together. So coaching is more about working in partnership with another person and co-creating a plan where you can move from where you currently are, which tends to be in a place where you feel stuck, and moving to where you want to be with the help and support of a coach. So what I'll do now is I'll go through my own set of ethical guidelines that I work towards so you can get a good understanding of what coaches can do for you and also what is right, what is potentially not right. So the role of a coach is to help set, clarify and maintain focus on your goals. So during the first session, we would go through what's keeping you stuck, what challenges you're facing, unpacking that a little bit. So it will tend to feel like therapy, but then we will start looking at a goal in mind and where we can go from A to B. But the role of a coach during that is to help set, clarify and maintain focus on the goal. The role of a coach is not to tell you what to do, and it's not to prescribe, it's not to diagnose, and it's not to advise. Those are three key things that as coaches we cannot do. We're just there to set, clarify and maintain. So if you think of it in that way, you'll tend to have a positive experience with a coach. And if they speak to you in that way, it will tend to be a really good working relationship. What I always say to clients is don't come into the next session and lie about the fact that you haven't done the homework or the fact that you haven't practiced what we've agreed to move you that one step closer towards your goal. Because if you haven't done it, it could be that we've set an overambitious goal for you, or it could be that then we need to unpack what's really going on behind the surface, and that's the work. Wherever you are stuck in between sessions, that is the work that we need to do together. So I always tend to say to my clients, please make sure that when you come into the next session, if there are any challenges, any problems, anything that you've struggled with, or if you just haven't done it, please let me know. The more honest you can be in a coaching session, the better outcomes you will receive. So we are there to encourage, support and believe in you even when you may not. So we will be your biggest cheerleader, and we will be the ones that tell you that you can do it. And yeah, we're there to challenge you, to help you recognize where you might be holding yourself back, and we're there to raise your self-awareness. So I myself see myself as a mirror for clients. I try to detach myself from my own ego when I'm in sessions, and I remember that the sessions aren't there for me and for what I think and my opinions. I'm merely there as a mirror to support the client and get them to see themselves. So what you'll experience in a coaching session is the person telling you in the most polite and kind way where there needs to be change, what you might be saying to yourself, old stories that you might be holding on to, and helping encourage you to think very differently. But again, we're not there to tell you what to do. All we can say is, I've noticed that you are talking about what we talked about last week, where we said that it's not serving you, or where you said that it's not serving you. What do you think about the fact that you're bringing that story up again in this session? What's going on there? So that's as far as we would go in terms of self-awareness. We wouldn't turn around to you and say, you're complaining again, or you're talking about that particular person again. We're not there to highlight things in a negative way. We're there to really figure out with a lot of curiosity what's going on and where are there opportunities to unpack, move forward and reach the goal that we've set together. Coaching is 100% confidential. Coaches should not in any situation feel the need to talk about a specific client or a specific client challenge. Coaching is 100% confidential. There should be no situation where any information about a client is revealed. So when you're in a coaching session, if the coach hasn't already told you that it's 100% confidential, please ask them what their confidential guidelines are, and what is confidential, what is not confidential. Coaching is an opportunity for you to have a person that is there to really see you, to really hear you, who is trained to speak to you in a certain way that's going to get the best out of you, and is there to help you every step of the way in achieving your goals. Examples of goals, for those that may not know, may feel like they need a coach but may not know what they need a coach for. Examples could be progression at work. Examples could be relationships, family, friends, romantic relationships. Maybe you have come out of a bad breakup and you want to be open to exploring new relationships again, but you feel a little bit stuck with that. So the goal could then be, how do we do a bit of work around making you feel a bit more open again to new possibilities? It could be someone that wants to start their own business, doesn't really know where to start, doesn't really know where to go, has a lot of emotional stress and anxiety around it. Or it could be a person that wants to get fit and healthy and doesn't know where to start. The reasons why a person comes into coaching could be everything and anything. The beauty with a self-development coach, I've been trained and my certificate is a holistic life coach, but I like to call myself a self-development coach. The beauty with these types of coaches is that we don't have to be experts in romantic relationships, platonic relationships, fitness. We don't need to be experts in setting up a business, because all that work is going to come from you. You're the one that's going to do the work in order to find out what needs to be done to set a business. You're the one that is going to do the work in order to figure out how to improve romantic relationships or friendships or family relationships. You're the person that's going to find the answers. We are simply there to guide you, to be a mirror, to raise awareness and to hold you accountable. We are the experts in figuring out the right types of questions to get you from A to B. We aren't the experts in how you're actually going to achieve that outcome. That will come from you. And if you have a good coach and a coach that has experience and is trained very well, they will be able to get you thinking in a way that you haven't thought about, and they will ask you questions that you've never been asked that will spark some ideas. It's really interesting. In the first session, a person can come into a coaching environment and have no idea what direction they want to go in. They know there needs to be change, but they may not know what direction they want to go in. And all of a sudden there's an action plan for at least 12 weeks on how we're going to get to this specific goal, just purely based on asking the right questions and purely based on raising self-awareness. So if you feel a bit nervous speaking to a coach and you may have a goal in mind, you may not have a goal in mind, I hope this video gives you a better understanding of what to expect, and I hope it helps you in your own journey to getting to where you want to be. Myself, personally, I support underrepresented communities, so women of colour, people of colour, LGBTQ plus communities, people with disabilities, neurodivergent people, anyone that feels like they have not been represented very well. Often work in companies where they are working with people that don't look like them, don't feel like them, don't sound like them. Those are the types of people that I help and develop into achieving their goals. So if you feel like you would like to find out more, then please message me. I am available on Instagram, and you can also fill out the form on my website, and I can speak to you about your goals and how we can work together.